Let's dive right into this explainer and explore the fascinating science of why your brain just completely comes alive when the rest of the world is shutting down. If you've ever felt like you're constantly swimming upstream in a society that absolutely demands you wake up bright and early, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to unpack exactly what happens in your mind and body when the sun goes down. Okay, picture this. It is exactly 2:37 a.m. Your alarm is firmly set for 6:30. You know tomorrow is going to hurt, but you're not moving. You aren't even tired. Or maybe you are tired, but it honestly doesn't matter because you stay awake. Why? Because the uninterrupted quiet finally feels right. It's like the world has entirely stopped asking things of you. And as you lie there, that nagging voice inside your head constantly asks, "What is wrong with me?" But I am here to tell you right out of the gate that you are not lazy, you are not broken, and you are definitely not alone. There is actual, undeniable, hard science behind why you operate this way, and we're going to break it all down. Section 1. Your biological clock and the hard science of sleep. You know, society's only answer for people like us is just go to bed earlier, right? As if you haven't tried that. As if you haven't put the phone away, closed your eyes at 10:30, and just laid there staring at the ceiling waiting for sleep to happen. Well, your brain isn't broken. It is literally just running on a completely different schedule. The key to all of this is a concept called chronotype. Now, this isn't just some trendy internet buzzword. It's hard science. Researchers studied nearly 700,000 people. That is a massive study. And they found that this schedule is largely genetic. It's passed down to you just like your eye color or your height. Your parents didn't just give you your face, they gave you your sleep schedule. The reality here is staggering. 1 in 4 people naturally have their internal clock set to the evening. They aren't staying up because of bad habits or lack of discipline. They are night owls purely because of their DNA. And it goes even deeper than that. For 1 in 75 people, they carry a very specific variant of the CRY1 gene. If you have this gene variant, it literally slows down your internal clock. Your melatonin, the hormone that actually makes you sleepy, doesn't kick in until hours after a morning person's does. Hours. It's a profound biological difference. Think of a morning person's brain like a bustling coffee shop, right? It opens at 6 a.m. and firmly closes by 9 p.m. But your brain? It's a jazz club. It doesn't even start tuning up its instruments until midnight. While everyone else is yawning at 10 p.m., your brain is just warming up for the main event. You didn't choose this schedule. Your body chose it for you before you were even born. Moving on to Section 2, revenge, bedtime procrastination, and the psychology of staying awake. So biology sets the stage, sure, but the actual driving reason you actively refuse to close your eyes and go to sleep is deeply rooted in your psychology. Psychologists actually have a clinical name for what you're doing at 2 a.m. It's called revenge bedtime procrastination. You are literally taking payback against a packed day that completely drained your energy. Because during the day, your time belongs to everyone else. Your boss, your family, your overflowing inbox, that group chat that never shuts up. You're constantly demanding yourself to perform, to check in, to be available. People can call it insomnia if they want, but really, your brain is finally getting the uninterrupted space and freedom from notifications it has been desperately craving all day long. Some people recharge by sleeping. You recharge by simply existing in a space that is completely yours. And for some, this learned behavior traces all the way back to childhood. Maybe you grew up in a loud house, or daytime just meant rules and demands, so you learned early on that finding a safe, quiet space meant waiting until everyone else fell asleep. Decades later, you're still fiercely guarding that little window of peace. Which brings us to Section 3, the evolution, a survival trait. Let's look at the history here, because this instinct to stay awake in the dark goes way, way further back than any modern psychological label or childhood memory. Researchers really wanted to understand ancestral sleep, so they tracked the sleep patterns of the Hansa tribe in Tanzania. These guys are one of the absolute last hunter-gatherer groups on Earth. They monitored them around the clock for weeks, and what they found was honestly kind of remarkable, and it completely shifts how we view sleep. Get this. Out of over 200 hours of continuous observation, there were only 18 minutes where every single person was asleep at the exact same time. Let that sink in for a second. Just 18 minutes out of hundreds of hours. Evolutionary psychologists call the reason for this the sentinel hypothesis. Because someone always needed to be listening and watching to keep the group alive out in the wild, human survival literally relied on staggered sleep patterns. They realized that night owls weren't some weird anomaly. They were absolutely vital to the community's survival.
The takeaway here is so profound. You weren't broken. You were evolved. Your ancestors survived because people exactly like you stayed awake and kept watch in the dark while the morning people slept. You are quite literally carrying a crucial survival trait.
But let's get into section 4, the dark side, the danger of the night. Because living as a nocturnal, evolved creature in a modern 6 a.m. corporate world comes with a really heavy cost that we absolutely have to acknowledge. It's called social jet lag. It is exactly like living in the wrong time zone without ever getting on a plane. Waking up to a blaring alarm when your natural body clock thinks it's still the absolute middle of the night causes intense anxiety, low mood, and those exact foggy mornings that feed right into your guilt. It's this vicious cycle. You stay up, you feel guilty, you crash, and you repeat. And there is a massive difference between choosing the night and hiding in it. Embracing the night because it feeds your creativity, acting as the thinker or the creator, well, that's healthy. But hiding in the night because you are actively avoiding what tomorrow takes away, acting as the escaper, that is dangerous. The night stops being a tool for processing and starts being a wall just to block out tomorrow. Finally, section 5, a new night routine and resolution. It is officially time to stop fighting your own DNA. The truth is you are built for depth, not for a 6 a.m. morning jog. You don't need to force yourself to become a morning person. You just need to become a night owl who actually understands themselves. You gotta recognize that your brain's need for processing time is highly valuable and totally worth protecting, rather than treating it like a bug that needs fixing. So here is how you actively honor your biology. Step 1, protect 30 minutes of you time before 10 p.m. Don't wait until midnight to claim your peace. Step 2, name your type. Ask yourself, are you the thinker, the creator, or the escaper? And step 3, create a shutdown ritual. By claiming time earlier in the evening and using a ritual, you're telling your brain it's safe to rest. You can set firm boundaries that actually honor your biology instead of constantly fighting it. Remember, your brain was literally designed for the night. You were never meant to fit perfectly into a 6 a.m. world, and now you have the hard science to prove exactly why. So, to wrap up this explainer, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Are you a thinker, a creator, or an escaper? Let's figure this out together. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.